My loyal warriors, the stars align for our ascension. Rise and march with me to claim the cosmos. Our empire's light will shine eternal.
The Arena of Virellion had never known silence. It was a place built for spectacle. An enormous circular coliseum carved from living crystal, floating above a sea of violet clouds. Every inch of it pulsed with energy, resonating with the emotions of those who gathered within. For centuries, the empire of the Lethari had used it to demonstrate their superiority. Not just in strength, but in evolution. They believed they had surpassed war. They believed they had perfected it. That was why the humans stood alone in the center. Kale didn't look like much, at least. Not by Lethari standards. Their warriors were taller, their forms more refined, their movements almost unnaturally precise. Their armor shimmered with adaptive plating that responded to threats before they even fully formed. Their weapons were elegant extensions of their bodies, powered by thought as much as energy. Kale wore none of that, just a simple worn combat suit, scratched, patched, and outdated by at least 3 generations of technology. And yet, he stood there like he belonged. High above the arena, seated upon a throne grown from luminous crystal, Princess Aelira watched with open amusement. She was young, even by Lethari standards, but her presence carried authority. Her silver-white hair flowed like liquid light, her eyes glowing faintly with the bioluminescent patterns unique to her kind. She leaned slightly forward, resting her chin on her hand. "That's him?" she asked, her voice echoing across the chamber. One of her advisors nodded. "The human fighter who defeated the Outer Sentinels." Aelira's lips curved into a smirk. "He doesn't look like much." "No, Your Highness." She studied Kale for a moment longer, then let out a soft, dismissive laugh. "And this is what they feared," she said. "This is the war-born survivor the border colonies warned us about?" No one answered. They didn't need to. The implication was clear. This was going to be easy. Kale could hear her, not the exact words. But the tone carried easily across the arena. Mockery didn't need translation. He had heard it before many times. He didn't react. The first challenger stepped forward, a Lethari elite, tall, armored, glowing faintly with internal energy. The crowd stirred with anticipation as the warrior activated his weapon, a blade of pure light forming in his hand. "This will be quick," the warrior said. Kale nodded slightly. "It usually is." The fight lasted less than 10 seconds. The Lethari warrior moved first, fast, precise, flawless. Kale moved second, and that was all it took. The crowd didn't understand what they had seen. The warrior lay on the ground, unconscious, his weapon dissipating into harmless particles. Kale stood exactly where he had been, unchanged. Aelira's smirk faded slightly. "Again," she said. The second challenger was faster, the third was stronger. The fourth used tactics instead of brute force. It didn't matter. One by one, they fell. Not dramatically, not violently, just ended. Whispers spread through the arena, confusion, doubt, something new. Aelira sat up straighter. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. "These are our best," she said quietly. "Yes, Your Highness," her advisor replied. "Then why?" She stopped herself, because she already knew the answer, or at least, she was starting to. "Bring the Prime Guardian," she ordered. The arena fell silent. The Prime Guardian wasn't just a warrior, it was a symbol, a being engineered over generations to represent the peak of Lethari evolution. Its armor wasn't worn, it was part of it. Its weapon systems were integrated directly into its neural pathways. It didn't just fight, it calculated. As the Guardian stepped into the arena, the atmosphere changed heavier. Sharper, even Kale seemed to notice. "This one is different," the Guardian said, its voice layered and mechanical. "Yeah," Kale replied, "I can tell." "You will not survive this encounter." Kale shrugged. "Probably." The Guardian attacked, and for the first time, Kale moved before his opponent. The clash was unlike the others, faster, more intense. The Guardian adapted with every movement, analyzing Kale's patterns, predicting his responses. But Kale didn't have patterns, he had experience. The fight stretched longer than any before it. Seconds turned into minutes. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the impossible unfolded. The Guardian, perfect, calculated, evolved, was being pushed back, not overwhelmed, not outmatched, just, slowly, inevitably losing. High above, Aelira felt something unfamiliar, not fear, not yet, but something close. The moment came suddenly, a shift, a miscalculation. The Guardian hesitated, and Kale didn't. The final strike was precise, decisive. The Guardian collapsed. Silence. Kale stepped back, breathing steady, eyes calm. He looked up directly at Aelira. She held his gaze. For the first time, there was no amusement in her expression, only curiosity, and something else, something deeper. "How?" she asked. The word echoed across the arena. Kale tilted his head slightly. "How what?" "You are outmatched in every measurable way," she said. "Strength, speed, technology, evolution." "Yeah," he said. "I know." Then how are you still standing? Kale was quiet for a moment, then he reached up and unclasped his armor. The crowd murmured. Confusion rippled through the arena as he removed the worn combat suit piece by piece, letting it fall to the ground. Underneath, there was nothing special. No enhancements, no glowing energy, just a human body, scared, marked, real. Alira frowned. What are you doing? Kale stepped forward bare, unprotected. This, he said, is how. The arena seemed to hold its breath. You fight with perfection, Kale continued. With systems, with control. That is strength, Alira replied. No, he said, that's safety. He took another step. I fight without it. Alira's eyes narrowed. That makes you vulnerable. Exactly. Another step. Closer now. When you remove the safety, Kale said, you stop thinking about winning. He looked around the arena, at the warriors, at the crowd, at the empire that had never truly known war. You start thinking about surviving. The word echoed. Different this time. Heavier. Alira stood slowly. You believe we don't understand survival? I know you don't, Kale said. The statement hung in the air. Dangerous, true. You've never lost everything, he continued. Never been in a fight where there were no rules, no systems, no guarantees. Her expression hardened. You underestimate us. Kale shook his head. No, he said quietly. You underestimate what war really is. Silence. For a long moment no one moved then. Alira stepped down from her throne. Gasps echoed through the arena. The princess never entered the arena. Not like this, but she did. Walking slowly, deliberately, until she stood across from KL, unarmed. If what you say is true, she said, then show me. Kale studied her. You sure about that? Yes, he nodded once. All right. What followed wasn't a fight. Not really. Alira moved first, fast, precise, perfect. Kale didn't counter. He absorbed, brigaded, adapted. Within seconds she was on the ground, not hurt, just defeated. She looked up at him, breathing harder than she expected. You held back, she said. Yeah. Why? Kale extended a hand. After a moment she took it. Because this isn't about beating you, he said. It's about understanding. She stood, slowly. Around them the empire watched, not with arrogance, not with certainty, but with something new. Respect. Alira looked at Kale again, truly looked this time. You stepped forward without armor, she said. Yes. Why? Kale glanced at the discarded suit, then back at her. Because sometimes, he said, the only way to show the truth, he paused, is to stand without anything protecting you. The arena was silent again, but not the same silence as before. This one wasn't built on certainty or control. It was built on understanding. And that changed everything.